Hello and welcome back to the Chelmsford News Show. I'm Tom Christiano. Well, tonight I'm very excited because for the first time I have all the employees of the town clerk's office of Chelmsford, Massachusetts, including the town clerk herself, Patricia Dzuris. And so she's here with 3 of the other women in the office, and we're going to talk a lot about elections and regulations and voting policies and all kinds of things like that. And we're going to have a great time, so thank you for tuning in. So I'd like to begin introducing our wonderful panel tonight with our town clerk, Patricia Dzuris. How are you, Tricia?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much for having us today, Tom.
Oh, thanks for being here, Tricia. It's been a long time. I've wanted you on the show for such a long time, though I did interview you in your office.
Yes, you did.
Maybe more than once, and that worked out very well.
It did.
But it's great to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
So we get better cameras, better lighting, and but not better me. I'm the same host, so. So how long have you been the town clerk, Tricia?
It was 5 years in June.
5 years. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
In June.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful. So how do you like it so far?
I love it. It's a great job. It really is. And I can't even, it's because of the team that we have, makes my job so much more fun. So I'm very fortunate. I have a fantastic team.
You do have a fantastic team. I've met a couple your new people in the past year, and they're so friendly. And Jennifer, I've known for a long time, and she's always been friendly with me. So, so I love having you all here. This is fantastic.
It's a great opportunity for us as well. Very timely with the early voting starting on the 22nd and the November election right around the corner on November 8th.
And guess what? I'm planning to vote on October 22nd, the first day. Remember you took a picture of me when I was the first voter in town?
8:30 a.m.
Oh, it's 8:30. I thought it was 9. Oh, but
On
9.
Saturday, 10 to 2.
Sorry. Oh my gosh.
oh, I'm sorry, 10.
Good thing. See?
Okay, yeah.
I think I have them.
Oh, 10 to 2. Yeah, I actually voted over here. So anyway, I'm trying to get there, but
Yeah.
I'll be biking first, so I'll get there as soon as I can.
Okay, we'll wait for you.
Thank you. So next to Tricia, we have Pam Gilchrist. How are you, Pamela?
I'm good, thank you.
Thanks for being on the show, and you're the departmental assistant, right?
Yes, I started back in January and loving every minute.
That's fantastic. So it's been a full 9 months, 9.5 months.
Yeah.
You've been in the office. Oh, that's fantastic that you love it.
Oh, it's great. I mean, as Trish was saying, our team is just amazing, and I've had some really great teachers. I mean, I worked as a landscaper in the Parks Department back in Marlborough previously, but I've never worked in a municipal office before. So I've had some great teachers.
You do. It's a wonderful office, and I'm so glad that you fit in so well, and I'm so glad that you love it.
Thank you.
I don't think I've ever had a job working for other people that I loved. Because I had to, be in a bureaucracy or
That
something.
worked for me. That's why, Tom.
Yeah, right. And next to Pamela, we have Maria Vasquez, right?
Yes, sir.
The assistant town clerk.
Yes, sir.
Wow. So how long have you been in the office, Maria?
I am coming up on 1 year on November 1st.
In a couple of weeks. Well,
Yep.
congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And how has your first year been so far?
Amazing. I am so lucky. I work with an excellent team, and we have fun every day, and we're just incredibly lucky, and I'm very grateful to be in this position.
It is wonderful. If you could enjoy your work to any extent, but especially a large extent, like
Yep.
you seem to, it's fantastic,
Yep.
because then your life is so much more pleasant. Your work day is more pleasant. You don't go home all stressed.
Right.
That's fantastic.
Wait a minute. I missed that boat.
It's a stressful job, but we have fun doing it.
Yes, wonderful.
We try to have a good time.
Absolutely.
And next to me, we have Jennifer Almeida. How are you, Jennifer?
Well, how are you, Tom?
Good, thanks. And you've been in the office a while now, right?
Yeah, 10 years in September.
10 years? You just had your anniversary. That's
I did.
fantastic.
Yeah, I was downstairs in recycling for about 8.5, almost 9 years before that. And then, now 10 years in the clerk's office.
10 years, that's fantastic. And do you love it as well?
I do. I
my
have to
God.
say. I mean, it's wonderful to have work that not only you enjoy doing, but you feel like it is important to work. And I think we all feel that. Like we feel like we have a huge responsibility. And of course, I'm very biased. Oops, sorry. When it comes to elections, because that's primarily what I do. But I mean, we all do elections, and we take it so seriously. And we really hope people understand that it is so much work, and it can be really exhausting. but I, for one, love it, and it's so satisfying to have elections and to make them work well and to put all the work in to make sure that it works well for the voters in Chelmsford.
Yes. And I'm sure you've noticed, but these days it's even more important, the town clerk's office throughout the country. I mean, there's all kinds of craziness going on in this country right now over elections.
Yep.
So you're like the focal point of the town, especially during election season, to make sure everything goes right. Nobody could complain. Nobody could say something was done wrong. So it's a big responsibility. Well, people could say something if they want, but
You can't make everybody happy. We do, you know, we try, and
Yes.
we try to cover everything. After every election, we have a debriefing amongst ourselves, amongst our election workers, with the Board of registrars, even feedback from, you know, calls that may come in from the town manager's office. So we're constantly looking to perfect the systems that we can do within our office. But most of what we do is dictated by Mass General Law. So we are executing whatever the most recent legislation is that they've passed, and we get the election advisories from the State Elections Division, and that is what we go by with all of our processes and procedures, is all based on Mass General Law.
and if there's anybody that follows the rules about elections, it's Tricia, because she tells me, you know, oh, somebody said something, you know, a little bit off on your show, and we got to straighten that out. And also on election day, you have to be very precise. You can't dilly-dally and talk like I might want to talk to everybody, and Tricia will get me out of there.
Move it along.
No talking to the workers.
They're
Well,
very-
not much.
They're very, very busy.
Right,
Yeah.
Tricia? Remember? It's like,
Yes, I do remember. But no, our election workers, they're told not to fraternize, and
Yeah.
they have to just get their job done. There's observers that may show up at an election. So how they perform their job is really, really important. And we have to make sure that it's done in a professional way. And also, by the way, the law dictates that they do it. So they have to stay focused. So
Yes.
we try to keep
and they
them
sure do. Oh,
Yeah.
my God. Well, what we'll do with the topics, I have about 5 topics tonight, and I'll just mention the topic, and then we'll leave it for an open discussion, okay? So whoever wants to speak could speak first, second, third, or whatever, or not speak at all. So the first topic that we have tonight is voter registration regulations and processes, including automatic voter registration. So anyone, please?
Yep.
I would love to take that one. So yeah, in Massachusetts, the state has made it very easy for eligible residents to register to vote. Most people do it when they update their driver's license with a new address at the Registry of Motor Vehicles. And also, you can do it in the office with a paper form. As of a couple of years ago, there's now a place online on the Secretary of State's website where you can either register to vote for the first time if you have a Massachusetts driver's license, or you can update your voter registration if you want to change your address, your name, or your political affiliation. I think one thing that might confuse people is the term automatic voter registration, as people move from one place to another in Massachusetts and they assume they're automatically registered. It's like, it's not quite that automatic. You actually need to do something. Again, either go to the Registry of Motor Vehicles, go online to the Secretary of State's website, come into the office and fill out a form. All of those ways will get you registered. The state legislature did recently change the voter registration deadline. For many, many years, it has been 20 days before an election. It is now you have up until 10 days before an election to either register for the first time or to update your voter registration. We really hope people use the Secretary of State's website. That is where they can check to find out, am I registered? Where am I registered? You know, you might be registered in Cambridge or Somerville or, you know, Wilbraham, but if you're not registered in Chelmsford, you can't vote in Chelmsford. Okay, so this is the time for people to check, right? Don't wait until Election Day to find out you have to drive to Western Mass to cast a vote. Check now. Make sure you're registered under your current name, at your current address, and make sure you're active. You know, I mean, there's this whole thing about, you know, we send out a census every year. If you don't return your census, you and every registered voter in your household are going to be put on the inactive voter list. All right? And then we're going to send you a little postcard saying we had to inactivate you because you didn't return your census. If they don't sign and return that card, they're going to stay on the inactive voter list. And that just makes voting for them a lot less convenient. They're going to have to get out of line, go see the warden, fill out some paperwork, show an ID, and then they'll get to vote. They're still registered voters.
Yes, I see.
But again, on a busy election day,
Yeah.
they don't want to be doing that. It
Yes.
slows down the lines at the polls. So check the Secretary of State's website,
Yes.
make sure you're active, make sure you're registered the right place, and call us with any questions.
Yes.
Now, talk a little bit about your queue, you know, what you're,
Yep.
as soon as you get in the
Yep.
morning, because
So that's-
that might clarify.
Again, sure. So basically, anybody who interacts with the Registry of Motor Vehicles, also with Mass Health and the Mass Connector, those are the automatic voter registration agencies. And when a U.S. citizen who is a Massachusetts resident interacts with one of those agencies, the default is for them to get registered to vote. They have the opportunity at that point to check, no, I don't want to get registered to vote. But if they don't check that, the default is for them to be registered. Again, if they're a U.S. citizen who is a Massachusetts resident who is otherwise eligible to be a voter, i.e. they're at least 18 years of age, then the default is for them to get registered. And once they have that interaction with that state agency, the next morning they show up in our queue at the office and we process all of those voter registrations. And again, a lot of it is just small changes in address, but a lot of them are new voters in town. And then we send them an acknowledgement form so they can see that yes, they have successfully registered to vote, shows them where they're going to go to vote, and gives them all the information they need for the next election.
Wonderful. And how many registered voters do we have in Chelmsford?
We have over 26,000 registered voters in Chelmsford,
Nice.
so it's
And it's very active, too, right? I mean, don't we have a politically active populace to some extent?
We
Well,
do-
except for local
We
elections.
do extremely well in presidential, like most. I mean, although we far outperform the country. We generally have between 80 and 82% participation in presidential elections, and we even outperform Massachusetts overall. We have very good participation in the presidential. We hope people start taking these, off-year elections more seriously because they are important too. And boy, we would love to see people show up for local elections. We wish people realize that it's just as much work to throw a local election as it is a presidential, and that's their tax dollars at work.
Yes.
Exactly.
Come out
So
and
we're
vote.
hoping now that vote by mail is a permanent feature, and we are able to do vote by mail for our local election now, which is great. And that, I think, might actually help voter turnout for our local election to do vote by mail.
Have we had that in the past?
Nope,
much?
we have
We've
not.
never
That
had
is
it?
new with the Votes Act.
Except for the temporary during COVID.
Oh,
To
to
vote by mail for
temporary.
local?
Yeah, we had a temporary in 2020.
We did a vote by mail for, okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, 2021.
No, I
It was 2021.
Vote by mail?
Yeah.
I've never mailed a ballot to, anyway, sorry, that you can just.
But we'll
that-
be able to.
We can check.
Okay, we'll check.
We'll do that
But
in the
anyway, vote
future,
by
though.
mail is now a regular thing. And
Right.
again, with all the changes that we've had to shift, it's like every time they change the law, we're pivoting. I mean, so we're like, okay, what election was that? What did we do? Especially
and as
during
you can
COVID.
see, we don't always remember. It's all
Yeah,
a
during
blur.
COVID,
Oh,
it is
there's
a
so
blur,
much,
especially
though.
when
Once it's in the
2020
rearview mirror, who knows what happened?
Because I remember 19, we had to postpone our local election, and
Right.
we consolidated all of our
Right,
polling
that was
locations
it.
into the gym.
Yes,
and
that
that
was
was challenging too.
Yeah.
So with COVID and with the changes in the legislation, we are constantly like, okay, what did we do last time? Did that work? Can we do that again this time? So
Yeah.
we're always double checking. So a collective memory bank is really important, especially with me at the helm. I'm always looking at my files and the history on the website. So luckily, I put everything on the website so I can refer to it, and everybody else can as well when it comes
Wonderful.
to history.
Wonderful. Well, shall we go on to the second
Sure.
topic? Vote by mail and early voting options and processes. Do we want to expand on that a little bit more?
So we have a lot of options for people to be able to go out and vote. And so not only is your ability to go and vote on election day still there, should you not choose to vote by mail or early vote, but anyone who can't make it to their polling location on election day, or they just want the convenience of being able to vote early, that is a permanent change that the state has made. And you can either vote by mail or you can vote early in person. And our early voting in-person location is the gym at town offices. And the primary was only 1 week, but the state election is 2 weeks long of early voting. So we do weekend hours, which we had mentioned earlier before the show, Saturdays and Sundays, 10 to 2. And this is between the time frame of October 22nd through November 4th for the state election. Weekend hours are 10 to 2. Monday through Friday are the same hours that town offices is open. So if nobody's familiar with those hours, they are posted on our website. We also have it posted outside of our office. And and you don't need an excuse to use that. That's just for everyone's convenience to be able to go and vote early, as well as if you wanted to choose to vote by mail. You can do that, and the deadline to request a ballot by mail is now 5 business days before an election. So where the election is November 8th, the deadline to request a ballot for the November 8th election is the Tuesday before the election, November 1st. By 5 p.m. we have to receive your application by that deadline, but don't wait until then. We always say please request as early as possible, just for a realistic expectation of us getting the request, processing it, mailing out your ballot, and you getting it, being able to vote on it, and send it back to us in an adequate amount of time. And as long as we get that back, Pam was good enough to bring an example package with us, which she'll show us. And when you mail on your when you vote on your ballot at home, you put it in your secrecy envelope, and there's an affidavit on the outside of that envelope that needs to be signed in order for us to be able to accept it in our office. And a lot of people also ask, well, if I request a ballot by mail, does that mean I can't go vote in person? As long as you don't return your ballot to us and we haven't accepted it in our office, which we can see through our voter registration database, your right to go vote in person is still there. The election worker will be able to see when you show up that you've requested a ballot, and can also see whether we've received it or not. Did I cover everything?
Well, other than the fact that we just got our ballots on Friday.
We did, yeah.
And so they've already started mailing out all the absentee ballots, and now we're working on, as we speak, we've got a little 30-minute break, but all the early voted applications that we've been collecting really since the beginning of the year. So we've got over 7,000, well over 7,000 ballots to be mailed out. So they're working on that right now. It's going to take us a couple of days to kind of get that first batch
For
out.
this election, this
Yeah. For this
midterm election, they call it, whatever.
And that's just what has come
That's
in as of
amazing.
yesterday. So,
I have 26,000 something registered voters. We're going to have a good turnout, it looks like, this year.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yes.
So yeah, we just wanted to show the inside envelope so that when people do request a vote by mail ballot, this is what they're going to see.
Yep, so this is how it's going to come to you. When you open it up, and this is an old one, so I promise there is no ballot in here. You'll get your instruction sheet. You'll get your secrecy envelope. As Maria said, it'll either be this lovely shade of mustard yellow or it will be brown like the envelope. It'll have a barcode label on it specific to that voter. And there is a signature line up here. And the important part is that the voter needs to sign that. Your voted ballot will then be sealed in here. And then you can put it back in your mailer. Yep, so you can return it either, you can bring it right into the town office, you can stick it in the mail and have the post office deliver it, or we do have a drop box out front of the town hall. It's a lovely brown box with
We'll get a new one someday.
blue election stickers on the side, and that's a secure box, and everything in there is brought directly into the building.
Yeah, and just to reiterate what Pam had said, if we receive this without an envelope, do we reject those? Yep. So we have to, if we don't have a signature, we have to reject those ballots as well. So you can, just like in person, you can spoil up to 3 ballots before you say, sorry, that's it, you're done. We will mail you up to 3 ballots, and after that, you're done.
That's good, they have another chance.
But we keep track
If they
of all
mess
of
up.
that. So just like Maria had mentioned in our voter registration database, we know when your application was received, when we mailed the ballot, if it got rejected or accepted, when we mailed another one, if it got accepted or rejected. So that history is all able to be tracked through the state's Track My Ballot application. So if they go to I always just Google mass elections, and then you go to the Elections Division webpage, and there is a icon on this as Track My Ballot. So you can see the status of your vote by mail ballot by going to that website.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wow, it's so well organized in your office. It's fantastic.
It is a machine. It is a very well-oiled machine, and
Yes.
and there's a lot more steps to the process. But
Yes.
we're on top of it all.
And you also have election worker roles, training, and processes. Could someone talk about that, please?
Let me just start, and then you can
yeah.
because I am very proud not only of my team here, but our election workers are top-notch. I mean, they are just absolute top-notch. For 2020, we ended up having to recruit quite a few more election workers because of COVID. A lot of our election workers at the time were elderly and weren't comfortable coming in. So there was a big statewide push for election workers, and we got tons of applications. So right now we're at 170 active election workers.
I never thought it was that high.
It is.
That is
it
amazing.
is. They all have to be appointed by the select board. So we develop a list, and every July, I submit that list to the select board, and they appoint them. And then we have an application process so that on our website there's a Be a Poll Worker webpage, and on there people can apply right there through the website. And also there's a training, an online training that they would need to take in order to qualify them. Not only do they need to watch all the videos, but they have to take the test and pass the test. And there's a test for each position. So there's a warden position, clerk, checkers, greeters, and box attendants. Those are, we could use some parking lot attendants if anybody was interested, since there's no more auxiliary police. But anyway, they have to take a test in order to get certified, and they get a certificate of completion after taking that test. So that way we know they've studied up, and then Maria does the scheduling, and that's an interesting process in itself. But we've got a new election worker scheduling database, which helps us. So.
It makes it very easy for us. So once they pass that certification process, then we consider them a certified election worker, and that's why it's nice to have more than we need, because you never know what's going to happen. People have to cancel. Life happens. So we are very lucky in that we have a very good list.
That's
of
fantastic.
election workers. Yeah,
Wonderful. That
We
you have
invite
so
anybody,
many.
but we also invite anybody to apply, because it's the more the merrier, and it's just like Maria said, things can happen, and we're especially wardens and clerks. We try to bring people up through the ranks, and we brought quite a few of our checkers up to the clerk and the warden level, and it's a lot. It's a lot to take on. It's a lot of responsibility. I always tell everybody, if you deliver to me a clean election within your precinct, then we can put all those puzzle pieces together, and I can deliver a clean election to the state. So every single one of those positions is vital to putting that all together and being able to certify that election.
Well, I'm looking forward to voting on October 22nd, early voting.
Great.
So will you be there, Tricia, too? Did you?
I'm bopping all around all over the place.
Oh,
I
my
mean,
God. Oh, yeah.
I'm not. It's hard to catch up with me on election day.
Yeah.
I am kind of all over the place.
On
I
that
mean-
early voting day? Well, look
Oh,
forward
early
to
voting.
seeing
Yeah,
early
sure.
voting, yeah.
Yeah, on the 22nd, sure, I'll be there. Maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
No, I will be there
Well,
definitely.
that's why I
Yeah.
always like to go
Yeah.
and see all the people I know when I go and vote. It's
Yeah.
one of my favorite things to do, but not to talk too long, right, Tricia?
That's right. I will
Right.
shoo
No,
you
I
out.
won't. Yeah.
That's all right. There's a lot
Well-
of funny stories about me being a little tough on election day, but it's all right.
We
For another
follow
day.
the rules.
Well, I learned my lesson, but. Well, how about our next topic is accessibility and communication with the town clerk's office. Anyone want to talk about that, accessibility in the town clerk's office?
Well, Pam is our first point of contact, so I'm going to let her start with that one.
Sure. So I mean, I hope the residents and the voters can tell from this program that, you know, I think we're a very friendly group, and I hope that they feel welcome and encouraged to contact us if they have any questions. I mean, we each have our own Chelmsford specific email, but we're all on the town clerk email. It's very easy to get a response from us that way. We always answer the phone. It very rarely goes to voicemail unless we're all on a different line.
Unless we're all here right now.
And I appreciate that so much. I called CVS and Walgreens recently about vaccine shots. I swear to God, this robot was going with me back and forth. I said, Representative, I could not speak to a human being. So I so much appreciate being able to speak to a human being when we call the town clerk's office. Thank you for doing
think
that.
it's very
and not
important.
putting on these robot
No.
robocalls. But go ahead, Pam.
Oh, well,
Anything else?
I mean, we're open, pretty convenient hours, I think, and people should always feel free to just stop on by, even if they have a question or even if they just want to say hi.
That's me. I stop by and say hi.
There we let you chit-chat.
Yes, right. And Tricia's been a good supporter of my art. I don't know if she told you, she buys a lot of my artwork.
Yes.
So, but anyway, so thank you, Pam. We have another topic too, and we can go back to this other one.
Yeah.
How misinformation harms us all, which is very important these days. Anybody want to talk about that? Misinformation about elections? We have a lot of that lately.
We do. So first and foremost, if you have a question about the way things are done, ask us. Just come and ask us, either voicemail, a telephone, email, or come on in and ask the question. We invite anybody that questions our processes to come in and observe what we do. Be an election worker. You can be an observer on election day. We're an open book because, again, we feel very safe because we are doing everything by state law. And so there's amazing how much misinformation is out there. I mean, number one, you can't really be registered to vote unless you're a U.S. citizen. I mean, absolutely not. The other thing I want to just stress real quickly is that our election workers are required to use the tools that they're given, but they are not supposed to be utilizing that information in any other way. So any election worker that is going, using a driver's license and looking at the information on the front of the license is not using their role appropriately. It's only a tool to use the barcode just to isolate the voter on the poll pad. That's all it is. And it's not required in Massachusetts to show an ID at all. And we do encourage our election workers to ask the voters permission before they scan the license. So by just saying things randomly, and it happens everywhere in almost every aspect of life, by saying things without having facts to back it up, it just takes away the confidence of the voter. And that's what we want to try to dispel. Again, if somebody asks questions about the way things are done in Chelmsford and the state of Massachusetts, we can speak to that. I can't really speak about other states, but lots of information is out there, and I'm sure there's resources that are valuable that they could go to the source. And our website is really where we point to all of the factual information, not Facebook, not any other social media. Our news flashes, we ask that people go to the Notify Me button on the town website and subscribe to the homepage news flashes, the town clerk news flashes, and that way you're going to get the information that we know is fact that is put out there based on what the state requires of us. And just come on in, friendly bunch. We're a lot of fun, at least they are, and happy to answer anybody's questions at any point in time. And again, volunteer. I mean, we have a lot of senior tax rebate volunteers in our office, and we can't do our job well without them. So that's another way to kind of find out the behind the scenes, what goes on in there. Anybody that works in our office knows there's a lot more to it than what meets the eye.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think you've given out so much information today that hopefully everybody will see this show if they want to know what elections are like, how they're run here in Chelmsford, how tightly regulated they are so nothing could go wrong, and what a great group of people we have in the town clerk's office.
Thank you.
And
Just
Jennifer,
say the telephone number of the town clerk's office
Yes.
would be great, 978-250-5205. If you'd like to email, it's townclerk@chelmsfordma.gov.
Yeah, and you mentioned the website too. Could you give the website address?
Sure, it's www.chelmsfordma.gov. That's the website for the town of
For
Chelmsford.
the whole town?
For the whole
So
town.
if they wanted to look at your office in there, there's a...
Then you go to departments and town clerk,
I
and
see.
under town clerk, they can go to elections and voting. I mean, there's a lot of information on our website, so we try to put everything that's the most current right in the news flash on the homepage.
Yes.
But if they want to delve into more, there's more.
Oh, well, thank you very much for being here today. We
Thank you, Tom.
Tricia Dzuris, right?
Very
Tricia
good.
Dzuris, the
Yep.
town clerk. Maria Vasquez, assistant town clerk. Pam Gilchrist, thank you, departmental assistant. And Jennifer Almeida, voter registration coordinator. Thank you all for being here tonight.
Thank you, Tom.
Ciao.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow.